Good evening YouTube, welcome back to the channel. For those down here, my name is Matthew and this is Matthew Hawker Gaming. So today we're going to do another MTG Arena video. So today we're going to do something slightly different. I featured for 60 card play before, I featured standard and I featured historic. So today we're going to feature the most powerful format, which is in MTG Arena. We're going to play some Timeless. So I'm going to say, but I haven't played much any Timeless before, but I've got a lot of MTG experience in general. I've got 25 years of playing experience. I play in paper as well. I mainly play, so in Arena, I mainly play Brawl and Draft. In paper, I normally play Command and Draft. Basically, I'm more a limited player. But we're going to anyway. I've played most formats in my playing career. So today we're going to feature a deck, and I'm going to go into a deck kind of tech, and then we're going to do some gameplay as well, which is the normal kind of format I do for these kind of videos. Right. So today's deck is going to be Ruby Storm. So Ruby Storm is a Storm variant. It's close to a mono red deck, but there's a small splash of white for various cards that I'll explain in a minute. Alright, so we go into the deck. So it's a 60 card deck as normal. So you've got Dragon Rage Channeler. So this is one of the best one drops in Magic. It's not quite a Ragavan, but this is only an uncommon, to be fair. I mean, you say Dragon Rage Channeler is a 1/1 for 1. It's a whenever you cast it's a card filtering basically. So when you cast a non-creature spell, which there are loads of, most of the deck to be honest, Seville 1, so you look at the top card of your library, you may put it into your graveyard. And then it has Delirium. So Delirium is a mechanic which means as long as there are 4 or more creature card types among cards in your graveyard, it gets +2/+2 flying and attacks each combat if able. So you've got flashback. Oh yeah, I should explain for those that don't know, Storm. Storm is a mechanic that's been around for a long time now. And it's basically, the aim of a Storm deck is basically to build up a selection of small spells on the key turn where you're going off, is to play a selection of small spells into some cards that have Storm. The Storm is a mechanic that copies the spell for each spell you've played before it in the turn. So that's basically the aim of a Storm deck, and you're playing things like Grape Shot and Empty the Warrens as the win condition. So Flashback is also a mechanic, which is some of the cards in this deck have. It's target instant or sorcery in your graveyard gains Flashback until the end of the turn. The Flashback is equal to the mana cost, so it's a bit like a recursion spell. You're playing 4 copies of Strike It Rich, so this is a 1 mana create a treasure token. It's got Flashback 3 as well, which means you can play it from the graveyard for the more expensive cost. But it's a good way to get your Storm count, because it's like mana neutral. As long as you've got red to pay into it, you'll get the red back from the treasure. Right, so this is the win condition. You're only playing 1 copy in the main, but there'll be more in the sideboard. We're playing best of 1s, but you can play this in best of 3 because there is a sideboard. Right, so you've got Grape Shot. It's got 1 damage to any target on Storm for 2. You've got Opera Love Song, so that's one of the more recent cards. It's from Final Fantasy. It's got 2 modes, although 1 isn't going to be used in this deck. It's exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play these cards until your next end step, which is the main one. Or 1 or 2 target creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn. It's an instant as well. Pyretic Ritual, so this is like mana positive again. You put mana positive cards are basically you put X mana in and then you get more mana out than you put in. So this is Pyretic Ritual, so it's also an instance. It's 1 and a red to get 3 red mana. You've got one of the things in the deck. There's potentially another win condition. This is Ralmonson Mage. So this is from Modern Horizons, I believe. There were quite a lot of some cards from Modern Horizons. There was also some other flip Planeswalkers as well, but this is one of the more recent ones. Ralmonson is 1 and a red for 1/3. It reduces the cost of instants and sorceries by 1 colourless less. It's when you cast an instant or sorcery spell during your turn, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, it will deal 1 damage to you. If you win the flip, you may exile him, return him to battlefield transformed. And on the other side, he's Raoul Leyline Prodigy. He starts out with 2 loyalty, but he enters with an additional loyalty on him for each instant and sorcery you've cast this turn. So he can basically ult the turn he is in as long as you've played enough spells. So it's basically like a win condition. Its +1 is the same as the static on the normal thing. So it's your instances or sorceries are 1 less until your next turn. It's -2 to deal 2 damage, divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. Draw a card if you control a blue permanent other than Ral. That's not going to happen in this deck, but you can use it to kill key creatures, like Thalia or something, for instance. It's -8 is exile the top 8 cards of your library. You may cast instants and sorceries from among them without paying their mana costs, and that normally wins you the game. Right, then you've got a selection of these, so Reckless Impulse kind of effects. So this one exiles top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of the next turn, you may play these cards. It's useful as you basically get a gist, because like if you need to draw a land, for instance, you can see whether you've got a land. The drawback is these cards will be exiled, but your opponent can't interact with them. He only knows if they're coming. Right, so then you've got 10 to the kiln. So this is a alchemy spell. So for those, so alchemy is some of the digital only cards. So this wouldn't be in the paper deck. I feel everything else would be playable in the paper. Deck. Oh no, there's some. I think there might be another 1 alchemy card. But anyway, it's an alchemy only card. It's they're trying to implement digital mechanics. Whether they should be legal in these kind of formats, we don't know. So alchemy cards are legal in a slightly different thing. There's alchemy, but in like traditional 60 card formats, they're legal in historic and they're legal in timeless as well. All right, let me know if you think the alchemy cards should be legal in this format or not. All right, you could obviously sub it for something if you didn't like it, but like it's quite good. It's a 1 red enchantment. When it enters, all non-elemental instants and sources perpetually, which means permanently, whatever zone they're in, basically, become elemental kindred in addition to their other types. It's when you cast an elemental spell, put a flame counter on it, then it has 3 or more flame counters, remove them, and conjure a card named Flame Braider onto the battlefield. Flame Braider is the card on the right. It's 1 and a red for 2/2. They come in with haste. Taps for 2 mana in any combination of colours. Spend the money only to cast elemental spells or activate abilities of elementals. But like all the stuff in your deck will be an elemental thing when you change it, or nearly all of it. Alright, so then you've got Ren's Resolve, another Reckless Impulse, kind of effect. It's 1 and a red, extra toxic cards of library. You may play this until the next turn. You've got Manamorphose, which is it's a kind of like a ritual effect, but it also has a cantrip attached. It's been around for quite a while now. That's just one of the more recent printings of it. We've got Ruby Medallion, which is the key, one of the key cards in the deck. It's Ruby Storm. Anyway, Ruby Medallion they're a series of artifacts that originate from, I'm trying to remember where they were. I think they were around Tempest Block originally, but it's before I was playing. I've only been playing since 2001. Well, it's still 25 years. But anyway, they said this is a cost reducer. They're more obviously played in Commander, although I think the blue one is Sapphire Medallion, and that I've seen some 60 card play as well. Anyway, four of those. And speaking of Commander cards, so say we've got Jessica's Will. If you control a commander, you may choose both. Don't worry about it for this. It's very good as is. So it's 2 and a red for, it's basically a choice of 2. So it's add red for each card in target's opponent's hand. So you can cast this really quite quickly. As long as your opponent hasn't emptied their hand, you're normally going to get a lot of value off it. It can win you the game if you can cast it on like the second turn, for instance, into a bunch of other stuff. You can win as early as turn 2 or turn 3. I think my earliest ones were like mainly around 3. Alright, it also has another bit, so you can exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. That one has got a slight drawback. It has to be this turn rather than until the end of the next turn. Then you've got, since you're running a low amount of lands, so you're playing Valakut's Awakening. So this is like one of the Modo MDFCs, as they're called. So this is a 2 and a red for an instant. It's put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library and then draw that many +1. So if you've got a load of spells that don't do anything, you'd rather try and draw some gas. You've got that, and if you need it, there's an ETB tap land on the back. Good thing about you not having to flip all these cards in digital. Anyway, Wish, which is it's a way to access cards that aren't in your main deck or in your sideboard, basically, because most Storm decks basically have a Wish sideboards effectively. Alright, this is just the more recent version of this card. This came into play in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. I think it's got like an elf bard on it. I think the art's quite cool. Alright. So I'll go into the sideboard in a minute, but we'll say that there's a selection of targets. We've got Passing Flame, so it's like kind of like a red Yawgmoth's Will. It's basically a recursion effect for the spells, but they'll be exiled as a drawback. So 3 in a red, each instance of sorcery gains flashback until the end of the turn. The flashback is equal to its mana cost, and it's also got flashback 4 in a red, which means you can play it from the graveyard. And I've got one of the most recent cards in the deck. You've got Storm of Memories, which is from Avatar. It's the most red card in the deck. It's triple red. It's got Storm. It's X on instance or sorcery with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard at random. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. If the spell be put in the graveyard, exile it instead. You've got some basic mountains, 10 of them. Take your pick. You've got Sacred Foundry. So the white lands are for basically cards. They're not for anything in the main deck. But they are non-basic land hate in the format. There's stuff like Magus of the Moon, and there's also stuff like Strip Mine. So, but like, we're playing 3 of them. I've taken this list, I got this list from a Facebook pop-up thing, so I took it from that. I'll be linking the list in the comment section below the video as normal. Right, so I've got Sunbaked Canyon. I'd say so technically I feel this deck is harder to play than some of them, but like it's not hard, I don't think. Alright, so I'd also, if you haven't played any, if you've played less, I would recommend playing one of the more recent formats, as generally the people that have played this have like a bigger selection of cards. But obviously crafting the cards in this game is a pain. I don't think it's one of the more free-to-play friendly things they've done, as like you need all the wild cards, whereas stuff like Hearthstone, I play a lot of other TCGs, and so this one has one of the worst crafting systems out of any of them. Although like I'm doing quite well on gems, I've got 18k gems and I've put in less than a tenner, and like I'm nearly infinite almost. Alright, 2 Sunbaked Canyons, these are the ones from Avatar, as you see Aang and Co are on it. So they're basically, it's like kind of like a pain land. So you can add 1 of each for 1 life, but it's also got inbuilt card draw on it. So the original one was like Horizon Canopy, and then they took a while more to come up with these ones in one of the more modern sets. Alright, 1 sack the land draw card. Then you've got Ancient Tomb. It's played as a one-off. This is the one from the Edge of Eternities, as you see. I quite like the artwork on it, although I've got the original tombs in paper. Anyway, so it taps for 2, deals 2 damage to you. So we're only playing 1. It's good for getting Ruby Medallion, but there's lots of red intensive cards in this deck, so you're not playing that many. Right, so we'll now go into the sideboard cards. Right, the sideboard cards are here. They're basically a selection of toolbox stuff. You normally wouldn't take out most of them out of the sideboard. You'd normally leave them in the deck and leave the wish to get them. You've got Tormod's Crypt, artifact 0 mana, exile target plays graveyard. Alright, so you've got various selection of ways to deal with it. There's stuff like Iona and stuff in the format, which means if they put Iona on red, you're basically not going to be able to cast anything, so you need an answer in white, effectively. So this is one of them. So this is Static Prison. It's when it enters, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until the enchantment leaves the battlefield. You gain 2 energy. Don't worry about the energy, not going to come up in this deck. Although energy is one of the most played decks in this. I think I killed them on turn 2, I think. Flashback, it's another copy of. You've got Wear and Tear, which is like, it's mainly ways to get rid of, say, Chalice of the Void and various other problematic artifacts and enchantments. It's got Fuse, so if you have the mana, you can cast both halves. So destroy target artifact for 1 in red, Tear, destroy target enchantment for white. You've got Grape Shot, you've got another 2 copies of them. This is just another win condition. You've got Opera Love Song, another copy. You've got Alchemist Gambit, so this one's worth a bit of an explanation. So this is basically, this is like an older card. This is like Final Fortune. Final Fortune was a red Time Walk effect, but it had the drawback of you lost at the end of the additional turn, basically, if you hadn't won, basically. So it's an all or nothing card. So this is the same thing, but it costs 1 a red and a red. Yeah, it's an additional bit on this card. It has Cleave. Don't worry about that. It's not happening. It's during the turn, damage can't be prevented. So if they've got damage prevention, it will get around it. Alright. It also exiles itself as well, but that's not relevant. Brotherhood's End. So this is a bit like kind of like a Pyroclasm of Anger. It's more like an Anger of the Gods effect. but it also does damage to planeswalkers in addition to creatures. It's also modal, so it also has destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less, which is quite good. You've got Galvanic Relay, which is like a sorcery with Storm. It basically exiles the top card of your library. During your next turn, you may play the card. You've got Lurus as in the board. You've got Empty the Warrens, another win condition if you can't grape shot them. So you've got Empty the Warrens, it makes red goblins. He doesn't like goblins. Got Passing Flames, another copy. You've got Legend of Roku, so it's a saga from Avatar. There's quite a few cards from Avatar. Alright, so exile the top 3 cards of your library on stage 1. The saga basically goes up 1 on each of your turns. When it enters and after your draw step. So exile top 3 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play these cards. Second step is add 1 mana of any colour. Then is exile the saga, return to battlefield transformed. Becomes 4/4 with 5 ending 4/8. Create a 4/4 red dragon creature with flying and 5 ending 4. And then you've got another copy of Storm of Memories. Okay, so now we're going to go into some gameplay. Right, so we're going to play ranked. We're going to just, as I say, I don't have a large amount of time. I've got like 2 hours playing this deck. I'm currently at platinum something, I'm going to say. I mean, say I don't play a huge amount of constructed on this, but like we'll see. I've got lots of experience. Anyway, we'll see if we can show you some a variety of gameplay. I've got the window open. It was roasting hot today. It was like mid. It was as high as early 30 degrees yesterday, so it's high 20s today. All right, so this we've got looking at. So I think I'm going to keep it. I've got Ritual. I've got Ral. I don't know what I'm going against. So that's a good start from them. So that's already bad for me. Really bad. It's a Fawn of Amethyst on turn 1, so it's a stacks piece. So they're probably going to be mono red or close. I don't know. So right, so my best thing is just to play the mountain and pass. So the good news is with Fawn of Amethyst is Ral. If I play Ral, so now if they're going to do any hand disruption, so I basically want to. I'm still worried about. So my choice is to play Ral now and hope he doesn't die, and then he'll negate the thing. I think he's likely to get swords or pathed, but I think I have to go for it. I'm going to pay 2 live. Play Ral. And see what happens. So Fawn of Amethyst is only affects creatures. Opposition agent, yeah, some of the things. Yep. The thing is that I don't actually search my library very often. I don't. In theory, I don't search my library at all. I only search my sideboard, so I don't think that applies. I'm gonna I've got options here. I think I'm just gonna cast Jessica's Will now. See what happens. He may respond if he plows Ral. It's looking really rough, but like I might. Right, so now I'm just gonna. I may be able to win here, or let's see what I can get. Right, I've got 4 red. Yeah, you. Decline. Red. I'm gonna take damage like here somewhere. Alright, so then I'm gonna cast Strike it red. Decline. Okay.
Prepare to be amazed beyond your imagination.
So close to just being able to play this thing on. Let me think. I can get a reduction of 1, that's not going to do it, so I'm going to cast the Dragon Rage. I'm going to do 2 damage, I'm going to shoot this, submit.
Help me check the voltage.
Best I could do. I thought I could go. Yeah, so they probably want to take the Storm of Memories, which was correct. I was close to getting it. This Esper Sentinel is going to draw them a huge amount of cards as well. Now they can. Yeah, so now I'm going to block this guy. It will take 2, but it means this will stay alive, and it means I get my thing. I'm going to play this, pay 2 life. Exile top 2. Decline because I need to keep the mana. Alright, we've got Jessica's Will, so can we... Can we get through this? I could shoot this if I wanted to, but later it doesn't matter. I'm trying to get to the thing, so... I need 1 more mana to be able to play this. I'll play this now. Well, I'm not dead.
Before.
I think we basically went for it. I mean, the thing, what's the Peacekeeper do? I can't remember. Oh, spells of the name. I'm probably not doing anything. The Jessica's Will is going to be too expensive. I mean, they also get rid of cards in their hand, which means the Jessica's Will is worse. Yeah, Raoul's quite... Past in Flames, okay. Yeah, we can't get to it. We're just dead. Okay, we'll go to the next game. Put us off. Wait, we got. I think I was 1 mana short of being able to cast the other spell. I'm using the Strixhaven Quintoris avatar. I think it was on offer in the shop, and I got it with in-game currency. I have plenty. Right, Soph's with us as usual. I'll show you at least 3 games, maybe 5, depending on how we go. Some of the games can be really quick in terms of turns, but they aren't necessarily that quick. They're playing with a Minsk and Boo avatar. Okay. Would you keep this hand? This hand could be really good. It's got double Ruby Medallion on turn 1. You need 1 red source to basically... I'm going to keep it. I don't know if it's wrong. Yeah, in terms of magic on the channel, so for Arena, I do various different videos for Arena. I do various ones. I normally focus on 60 card, like kind of... So there you go, we draw our deck, our land, so that's good. They can have... 1 island means they could have a daze, which is counter unless you pay 1. So they're going to brainstorm. They can also have Force of Will, which I said was in this format. So now, if this resolves, next time we're going to play the Sunbaked Canyon and the Ruby Medallion, and then we're going to try and go off probably the next turn. You can try next turn, but I don't... Yeah, they've got a daze. But we can play second Ruby Medallion. They basically time warp them effectively because they 7 their land back. Relate. The card's very good. I'm also going to play Raoul this turn. If they want to daze me, be my guest. See how much damage I've taken from my lands. I don't know what they're playing. I've seen a daze. So we can play our land. force that. Okay, so that's...
The world has given me some new ideas. Supercharged and super ready.
There you go, they gave up at that point. Okay. We've just gone up a rank, so that was 1-1. Right. Yeah, so I'm saying I also cover various other things on the channel. I've done videos for Brawl, the deck tech kind of style videos. I also do videos for Paper Commander, and I do these 60 card ones from time to time as well. I also cover various other TCG stuff on the channel. Obviously, I've got playlists for all these kind of things. If you scroll through the playlist, there'll be a video playlist for Magic. Like normally turn 1 Ancient Tomb is very good. I could just play the red source as well. I think I can just play the red source because there's a chance they could have a strip mine, and I'm not going to use the land on turn 1. So I think this is fine. I'm just going to keep it as is. Yeah. So I do various other, I do content for Hearthstone. So this is going to be one of the energy-based decks, which is one of the most popular decks, I'm going to say. I mean, I don't need to play the Tomb, exactly. What does this land do? Pay 1 life out, so I could... Oh, it pumps things, okay. With Soul Walker, yeah, okay. So we're going to think what they... So they can have stuff like... The things that will affect me are stuff like Path and Swords. I am going to play the cost reducer now.
I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, they've got the... Guide of Souls also sees play in... so... I'd rather it was Path than Swords, because I'm getting to get this thing. Although it's a permanent cost reduction, so I can get to 5 next turn. Is that Anjani's Pride Mate? I don't know that much about the format. I know Energy's played. I don't know about Anjani's Pride Mate. I'm playing this in my standard mono white deck, for instance. Now we've got lots of options. So we're going to play the Ancient Tomb as well. Right. So we've got. What do we start with? Because we can get 2, 3, 4, 4. We can get 5 mana here. So the aim is to get to as far. So if I cast. Right, we've got a grape shot, so we can just wait, right? We can play this. Right, we can try and go off next turn. I don't know if they can think. The Great Shot can also be used as a kill spell on the Soul Warden, for instance. This is also pump, but it's as a thing. They're going to gain a lot of life, but I normally Great Shot them out from 4 anyway. Yeah, sure. So again, I'll take 8 or 9, 10. Okay, so I'm on. This just looks like a supercharged version of the my deck in standard, effectively. Alright, so we're basically going to have to play a section of rituals. So I've got 3, 4, I've got 6 mana here. Alright, so we go. This generates you 3 mana. Right, so we got Rattle, so we got the cost reduction, so we lost him in for sure.
I just need one big break.
Right, so now we cast Ren's Resolve. Right, so we can cast. So tap this for red.
to reinvent myself.
Right, so now we reduce the cost of all spells.
Power coupling, secure and holding.
Now we cast Rattle again.
Luck will break my way. Eventually. If you're not scared of lightning, you're about to be.
So I've got, how much in my pool? So I need 2.
Supercharged and super ready.
Not sure I can do it, can I? I need to get 3 red. No, I can't do it, can I? No, can't do it. Never mind. No, I couldn't get to the critical mass of spells. Right, so we'll carry on. Let me know what your favourite formats to play on in Arena are. Anyway, this deck's fairly new to me. I played Storm decks in my time though. I played mainly High Tide in Legacy at a point. That was before Candelabra was legal. I think I played against this guy before. That's nearly an auto keep. It's turn 1 Ruby Medallion, and you've got like Madam Pose and the thing. I should remember what he's playing. Flops Avatar. Eldrazi by the look of it. So they have Chalice in their deck. Oh, Vexing Bauble, God, yeah, oh, 2 baubles. Yeah, that's fairly bad for us. Alright, we'll see what...
Talent like mine deserves respect.
I need a way to get rid of the baubles, basically. The answer is... Decline it. Don't want him to flip now, flip him later. It's got me the other land. It's just going to be passed. We need to find an answer for the baubles. Another hate piece that came out of Horizons. What set is like thing? What was Library of Alexandria legal in? Or did he just conjure it out of something? Alright. We can't get through anyway. My turn. Right, so we can try going off now. We can Jessica's will. Do we fit? It's whether to be a commit more to it or not. Right, so we see if we can get through the stacks piece. I think Library of Alexandria is one of the most overrated lands of all time, though. It was good in the beginning of their game. So it's basically, for those who don't know, Library, it taps for colours, or taps to draw a card. You activate only if you have exactly 7 cards in your hand. At least it taps for mana. Stuff like Tabernacle don't actually tap for mana. Yeah, so they basically, one of the baubles has gone. I'll see if I can get. Yeah, that's annoying because I was going to try. But like, okay. I do not have a cost reduction, but I can play this and see. Right, except top 2 cards. I'm going to exile top 2 cards again. Okay, so now we have Raoul. What effect?
One day, I'll get out of this miserable district.
Right, we've got Raoul is like I can Pyretic Ritual to keep it to get him off if they try and kill it, for instance. Trial is for 1. That's kind of annoying. I'm going to respond. I'll probably cast this. Oh, it's doing your turn. Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Prepare to be amazed beyond your imagination.
Right, so we need the card in our sideboard, which is, we're going to get rid of this. So, what's the mass? Sorry about this, I'm trying to concentrate again with the stack piece. I can now attack. Right, so now we've got something. We've dealt with the baubles and the pieces. Now we've got a thing where we don't have much of a hand. Yeah, so with the ring, okay. And I did lose my medallions. Yeah, they're casting shadows on 1, which seems fairly good. Right, and
Tinkering pays off.
can't pass the Chamala, but like they're trying to find something that will finish me. This will get that eventually. Yeah, so they're getting like sure. So we've got 1 turn, right? So we've got 1 turn, so we can cast this. This gives us the thing. So this will only give us 2 mana. We can go graveyard to see what it's likely to get. I'm trying to work out what our best is because we are dead to this, so we need to try now. So what is the best way? So if we Jessica's Will now, this an X on the top 3 cards, is that better? I think it is. so we've got a mountain. That enables us to cast, like, Strike It Rich, but it's not going to get there, I don't think. Oh, did I forget to reduce the cost? Alright, so we can cast... so we've got 4 mana here, so we can do this. Alright, so we have generated a lot more mana now, so we can just tap this for red. Alright, we'll see if we can get there now. Alright, so now we go Ruby Medallion to...
Talent like mine deserves respect.
And then we do this. Let's see if we can get that. Just as well. Add red fish in my opponent's hand.
The new world has given me so many new ideas.
Right, so I think we've probably got it now. Right, so I'm going to play a load of things for free basically, so now we just need to hit the thing. Right, so I think we're good now. This will get me my grave shot out of the sideboard and that will be a game over.
I've empirically proven that this fight is over.
Right, so we can just go now. Doesn't really matter at this point, they don't. This was our last turn as well, because the other thing was winning them the game this turn, if not. Just play as many cards as you want, I don't think it matters. I think we might do another one. Sorry if these turns take ages. I don't know if there's a shortcut for how many. Yeah, we dealt with the problem pieces and we came back and won. Beat Eldrazi. Definitely popular in nearly every format Eldrazi where it's legal. Right, I'll show you one more game, and we'll leave it. Anyway, so I was doing this video because I wanted to show you an arena video. I was going to do a video for Brawl, but I couldn't work out a Brawl deck. I was trying to do a general Tazri, like allies cut. Sorry, not General Tasvi. That's the one I play in paper. I meant the newer, whatever the new 5-color ally commander could be. I was trying to build that and then couldn't work it out a list. Well, I'm happy with. So the thing, we've got double Jeskai's Will. I think it's keepable. We can play the Tap Valakut Awakening and then Sacred Foundry, and we'll like potentially go off on this like hope. Because you can go Pyretic Ritual into Jeska's Will, into the 2-card drawing effect. So they're going with the 3 spells. They're using it as a cantrip. Yep. Okay, so I've got 2 choices. I can play Pyretic Ritual, and if they don't have a Daze... Oh, they could have Daze and Force. So I might play the Ruby Medallion instead. I'm going to play 2 life. So let's see. I could go with this. And in theory, I could go with the Reckless. The better one is to play... I think is to play the Ruby Medallion. They feel like they're pausing, so they obviously have some kind of interaction. They played Spell Snare. Okay, that's alright. That's one of their Spell Snares used up. They could have had Daze. I haven't seen many Spell Snares. Grindstone. Alright, okay. So, like, that could potentially kill me quite quickly. Is Painted Serpent in this format? I was like, okay, I hope he's not, but like, alright. So we're going to try, I've got I'm going to go the Ritual first. So I need to go the mana neutral. They might just Daze it. Yes, I'm dead. Next turn. I didn't realise Painted Serpent everything. I played the same thing. Why he goes for white, I've no idea. Normally they pick blue or something because it means they can... Right. So now I've got no choice. I've got Jeska's Will. I can generate 3. It's not going to be likely to do it, is it? So I'm getting... it's going to be very bad. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to Jeska's Will. There's a chance I have to use the base one of these. So it's either this or this. Doesn't really matter. And if I don't hit the right thing, I'm just dead. And I don't. I'm dead because they're going to paint me. And I'm thin. Right, so we lost that one. Oh yeah, I'm dead next turn, literally. I wasn't even aware Painted Grindstone was in the thing. I've got it in my mill deck in Pioneer. Sorry, not in Pioneer. I don't mean Pioneer. I mean my mill commander deck. Sorry, not Pioneer. I was getting confused. Alright, that's been Matthew, and this has been Ruby Storm. I'll be doing these ones, the arena videos periodically. For arena, I also do various draft videos. I always do draft videos on release of a new set. So there'll be a new one in not very long, won't they? What's the next one? I can't remember. There's so many sets coming out nowadays. So I also do paper videos showing my commander decks, and I also do various video game and TCG content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Been going 3 years now on YouTube. I like to give back to the community where I can. I'll keep doing these anyway. All right. Thanks very much, and I wish you luck on Arena. Thanks very much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.